Thank you so much for jumping in a little bit earlier.
Okay.
Here is Carla Sofia Nogueira. She's from Portugal, but you're located in Italy right now, yeah?
Currently, I am, yeah.
Carla is a business development manager at Valerius Hub. It's a community for that is built to actually support sustainable fashion designers. And she's passionate about learning. She's passionate about fashion, its history, textile, and she's also a professional dancer. And well, thank you for joining us. It will be an interview format, guys, so we don't have any slides, but I think that's a good break from our great presentations. So interview style. So if you have questions for Carla, you can drop them in chat or you can ask them later. Hello there.
Hello there. First of all, thank you so much for the invite. I'm super grateful. As I told you, I'm super grateful to be here. I think the initiative is really fantastic. And actually, I'm kind of happy that I was able to also listen Emily's presentation, because what we are trying to implement at the Valerius Hub and what we are trying to create and to be more aware of really goes in that direction, like NFT and blockchain and the whole like 3D design. So it's very interesting that I was able to listen to her as well. In regards to the group, I don't know if you'd like me to do like a brief presentation of the group, maybe?
I would like to ask you about first the company that you are with right now, and why you joined this company, and what's you're focused on at the moment. I checked the website and it looks really amazing, and the message and the idea that you have behind, and I see that you're focusing on digital fashion as well, and I know that you have master's degree in fashion management as well. So how does it all link to what you're doing right now? Very excited to hear from you.
So yeah, basically it really is a very interesting blend, and that's why I called the lecture the blend of fashion and textile, because I think that especially now, and I can see that more and more happening, there's this huge interest in fashion. I think it's just growing, because it used to be something when I was younger, is that fashion used to be something for very specific group of people, and I think that nowadays it just like becomes more and more like available to everyone, and suddenly everyone is focused on what Off-White is doing, what Nike is doing, all the collaborations that have been happening in the past months and years. I think the growth and of the interest in fashion is definitely happening, but one thing is to follow fashion, another completely thing is to understand what's behind it and understand the background and how the supply chain works, and how business operations work until a garment or a specific collection arrives to a store or to a marketplace. So as a fashion lover, I really wanted to understand, like, okay, how is the backstage of it? How is the brainstorming? How the collections are developed? So I don't know if we're able to see, but like my education path is quite like, it's an interesting mixture, let's call it that way, because I started with school. I went to art school, then I went to communication, and I did a double bachelor in journalism and marketing. Then I did art for fashion in London, and then here I am working here at this company. And while I work at this company, I also did communication planning and industry textiles. And now I'm doing the master in fashion management. So it's just like a huge blend. But basically, I think it also has to do with the fact that the group itself that I represent, the Valerius Hub, is also a very dynamic and eclectic organization and institution. And the thing is, we're now renovating all of our social channels, like website and social media, Instagram, and so on. But the truth is, I don't think they yet show every single thing that we do, because obviously we're doing this like on a baby steps. So we're not suddenly going to expose everything that we do, like we're doing it on a like regular basis process. But I definitely invite all of you guys to be aware of it, because I'm really, really proud to definitely represent the group. Because basically, we started as most companies in the north of Portugal start, which is as a manufacturing company. Okay, so obviously the north of our country is very strong on that, on both home textiles, actual like jersey and fashion textiles, and shoes as well. So that's where the industry is mostly focused on. It's in the north of the country. So 15 years ago, the Valerius Hub started as a manufacturing company, and we produce mostly jerseys. And it's interesting because back in the day, we started to work with a brand, which is COS from the H&M group. And we started to work with them with like very small quantities and like very specific products. And now 15 years later, they're one of our biggest customers. And there's a lot of like relationships that we created with brands, and we supported like startup business at a time that now turned to be like one of the biggest fashion players at the moment. So it's a very like, we really focus on very long lasting relationships with the customers. And we were doing great as a manufacturer and the business started growing. So what my boss did was a very smart move, which was to invest on companies, on textile companies that had financial problems or were about to go bankrupt or actually went bankrupt. Because obviously the value of the company would go low and keep the know-how and keep all the machinery and so on. So 15 years later, we have more than 35 companies in the north of Portugal, all related to textile production and fashion production. The only companies that we have that are not here in the north is one company that we have in Lisbon that is focused on development and production of swimwear and lingerie. And then we have another one in Morocco for like bigger units and when we want to achieve like a better price. And yeah, mostly like the only orders and the only projects that we put in the Morocco unit are really like the ones that are very, very big. And we feel that they have more capacity, they have more capabilities, and even like the mindset is more prepared to that. So here, focusing mostly on what we're doing in the north of Portugal, we pretty much like to call ourselves any brand's one-stop shop. Because that's the goal. Because obviously nowadays there's no such thing as a brand that only sells one specific product, like t-shirts or socks or jerseys, or like obviously all brands have like a huge range. And now I think that is happening even more because now brands are also moving to merchandise items or like socks and caps, like baseball caps. I've been doing so much right now. Like, and all of this, like even like iPhone covers or, you know, so many merchandise items. And we try to put ourselves in this brand's shoes, okay, the buyers and the designers and the sourcing managers. And we definitely understand how complicated it is to just have so many contacts. And for instance, we have brands that buy the fabrics in Middle East, but then they do the production in Turkey, for instance, and then they have a logistics center in Europe. And they have all of this service so divided all over the world. And they just spend so much time managing like all the time differences, the time zones and the delivery dates and the arriving dates. So our goal was just to solve that problem. And basically anything you need for your brand, you have my phone number and you call me. So if you need socks, you call me. If you need jerseys, you call me. If you need design services, you call me. And if you need a logistics center, you call me as well. So we really wanted to solve that issue and just to combine the services in one single place, or at least like one single entity, because all of our factories and all of our units are actually very well located because they're all like half an hour driving from each other and half an hour driving from the airport as well, because, you know, Portugal is very small. So it's easy to be like close. So right now, and although we have all of these factories and all of these units, the boss and the society that manages the entire group has someone managing each and every single one of these companies. And that gives him the freedom to just like focus on other businesses. And for the past 5 years, I would say, we are really focused on sustainability. I think I'm about to sneeze, I'm sorry. I'll sneeze in the meantime. But yeah, basically right now, sustainability is definitely mandatory. It's a mandatory topic. It's no longer a trend or something that you should like look up to. You really have to be sustainable. You have to have a message. Like if you're starting a project from scratch, especially if that project is a brand or has any connection with the fashion industry, you have to have a message. And if that message is sustainability, fantastic. If not, you have to have some sort of awareness around it, because I think that right now, creating a brand with like graceful products or cool jerseys, or I don't know, something cool, like that's not enough. That's simply not enough. So we really want to support brands and give this sustainable consultancy to them. So in order to do that, we had to make sure that we have a proper team with the special know-how that could actually do it. So for the past 5 years, we've been traveling a lot in terms of like searching for what's in fact sustainable and what is not, what is greenwashing and what is not, because greenwashing is real, and worse than not having information is to have like a lot of disinformation. And that is definitely happening, especially applied to sustainability in fashion. So we really wanted to fight all of that. So 5 years later, we were able to create a factory that we're definitely most proud of, which is Valerios 360. So Valerios 360 is a company located in Porto. And basically what we do is we collect pre and post-consumer waste, textile waste. And we basically invite all of our brands, all the brands that work with us, because we're currently working with, to give you like an idea of context of the group, in all of our factories combined, we have more or less 2,000 employees. And we work with around 200, 250 brands all over the world. So we invited the brands and we asked them to give us their stock, because stock is a problem of, all brands and factories. Everyone has that stock. So we wanted to collect that, and we invite everyone, even like the factories or competitors, the factories around us, we offered to buy their stock, to buy their leftovers. So we're collecting all of that. And based on a fully mechanical process, we shred and we sort the stock based on texture, composition, color. We shred it all on a mechanical process. We cut it, and then we blend it with virgin yet sustainable fibers such as lyocell, C-cell, or organic cotton. And we create new fibers, therefore new reborn fabrics. And when the fibers are too short to be recycled, we create paper with it, which is the case of this notebook, for instance. This notebook, this is the logo. This notebook is fully made out of cotton paper, because I think that recycled paper, like paper that turns into paper, is something that we've all been hearing about since we're kids. It was not that common, but it was like, it's something that it's out there. This is paper 100% made out of clothes. And we can do like even the inside, it's all made out of cotton paper. And we can do notebooks, we can do hang tags, we can do envelopes, we can do letters, because we're already doing that for a lot of our brands. We have brands that are already selling the clothes with the hang tags with cotton paper, because let's face it, on a buyer perspective, on a consumer perspective, the first thing you do when you buy a new garment is you rip the hang tag off, you throw it in the trash. So what we're trying to do is we're inviting the final consumer to actually plant the hang tag, because adding to this paper, we actually add seeds on it. So instead of throwing the hang tag to the trash, we invite you to actually plant it. And right now, the seeds that we have are for cilantro, I think. We're not actually planting trees yet, but it's definitely happening. So this is just one of the most like sustainable things that we're doing already. And we are definitely, because like our final goal really is to fight greenwashing. So we want to educate the brands so they can educate their final consumer. That's our main goal. And this is what we're doing on this specific unit regarding sustainability and like recycling and innovation. But the entire group is trying to be as sustainable as possible as well, because actually we already have, like you can see it on our website, we have a huge list of milestones and commitments that we want to have in regards to sustainability and innovation. And it's not that we're doing and we're producing sustainable products, sustainable apparel. We're actually trying to be sustainable in the way that we do it. For instance, all of our cutting plans, like the cutting plans of the production, are like the minimum efficiency that we accept are 80%. So we recycle the 20%, but still we have to have an efficiency of 80% minimum. We are also installing solar panels on all of our factories. All of the cars that we have right now, we're switching to electric. We didn't do that like straight away, but we're doing that, like we're recycling the cars, and the ones that we are selling and the ones that we're buying, they're all electric. All of the paper that we have in the factories, even like the toilet paper for the staff in the bathrooms, it's all recycled. So we're really trying to implement sustainability on the mindset of all the employees as much as we can possibly can. And also we have a special department that is managed by an environmental engineer. And what we do with that department is we also give sustainable consultancy, and we are also now doing LCA, which is calculating the life cycle assessment of any product. So basically we can know exactly from a collection that you as a brand, for instance, is selling, we can know where the product came from, all the fibers, the origin of the fibers, the origin of the plantation, and every single detail of the fabric until it arrives to your hands. So I know this is a lot of information, and I had a presentation prepared, but the thing is, it's so much information and it's so complex that I prefer that you're focused on my words than just focus on images, because it really is like a lot to observe. And this that I just mentioned is just in regards to sustainability. I began this conversation saying that our goal was to be any brand's one-stop shop. We are doing that because we have a fantastic design center, like with 25 young designers, and they're divided in 3 teams, that each team is managed by a head of, and that head of is someone with a lot of experience within the fashion industry and the design. But the team itself is very young. Like we're talking about kids like me, which are in their 20s. And what we're trying to do is really like make a blend between fresh blood and experience. That's why the teams are very juvenile, and like we have designers that didn't even went to college. It's just kids that we interview and we see, okay, this one has potential. Let's just teach him how to work on Photoshop. Let's just teach him on how to work on Illustrator, and everything that we can teach them. And that's what we're doing. And we are educating designers, and we are now implementing Clo 3D. And this is the part that is more connected to what Emily previously presented, which is really like fully designed with 3D patterns. So basically we are selling the service to the brands, and we tell them, okay, for instance, a brand that is based in the UK and it sells mostly in the UK. We ask the brand to let us know what does the brand feel is the body type of their buyer. Okay, so you let me know more or less what do you think is the general body type of your buyer, of the woman that buys your clothes. And based on that, we create an avatar, and then we do a partnership with a pattern maker. And instead of doing a physical sample of a new product, because we spend resources, we spend fabric, we spend time, and we have to ship it. Instead, we just do the pattern, we do the design in 3D, we present it to the customer. And if the customer says, okay, I like it, let's move to a pre-production sample, and when we'll go to production, fantastic. If not, the customer just said, okay, this is not exactly what I thought it was going to be, let's just drop this out. And that's one way of being sustainable as well. And within this design department, we pretty much do everything from fashion design to print sourcing, embroidery sourcing, logo design, graphic design, because there's brands that have a very specific design department, so they don't need our support in terms of like the actual development of the CADs and fashion, but they do need support in terms of like print techniques, embroidery techniques, like what is new that people haven't seen before. Like, for instance, I can give you a practical example, because this is something that if you Google it a little bit, you'll find it, but we are the main suppliers of Moschino and Karl Lagerfeld. So we're talking about 2 gigantic fashion players that obviously do not need our support in terms of like fashion design. But in terms of like fitting, they always have more or less the same fitting on the hoodies and the t-shirts and the sweatshirts. So their consumer needs something different in terms of prints. They need to do something, they need to see something fresh. You cannot just drop like 10 years of the same pattern of a sweatshirt and not have like creative prints on it. You constantly have to improve on the prints and to do something creative with it. So we have a specific team that only focuses on that. And for instance, last month we created a print that is with a technique that is called Caviar Technique, because basically it really looks like caviar, and it was white on white. So white print on a white fabric. But if you pass a lighter on the t-shirt, the print will turn pink and the t-shirt will not burn. We also created a fantastic print technique with Pangaea. I don't know if you know the brand Pangaea. We pretty much developed the brand. 2 years ago, they came to our office and there were like 5 people working there. Right now, every time they come to visit us, we're talking about a 30 people team. We're talking about a brand that was founded 2 years ago and now has almost 1 million followers on Instagram. And for them, we pretty much do everything. We design and develop the fabrics because we also have an R&D department for that. We give sustainable consultancy. We do the production, of course. We also do product photography. And we recently developed a print technique that is called Eco Black. Because basically what we do is we manage to create a print and to reproduce in ink air pollution. So the print is 100% made of air pollution. So this is really just like an example of how eclectic and dynamic and innovative we plan to be, and we already are as a group. A lot of information, guys. I don't know if you have any questions, but please feel free to bomb me with it.
Guys, before Bisa will try to jump in. Carla, thank you so much. This is such an amazing concept and brand that you have at Valerius Hub. The 360 concepts and the sustainable production and what you're trying to do with the brands and teach them how to be sustainable. I wanted to ask one question: why the founders of Valerius Hub and the team are doing this? Is this the part of your mission, vision, and your values, or it's just the direction from the European Union? Just be sustainable. Why are you doing it?
It's really because like we've been working so. Every company that we've been buying for the past 15 years, they're all companies that are already in the industry for like 40 or 30. It's insane. So all the people that we work with, most of them have a lot of know-how, meaning they've been working with brands for so many years that they're very much aware of what is happening. And if you look for our social media channels, you'll see how worried we are with this. And we actually recently launched, like we won an award for a film we recently did. And the film starts by saying that every second container of clothes is burned or landfilled. Every second. And people don't know this. People don't have this kind of awareness. And it's very important that they do. And we are extremely worried because obviously Valerius Hub is a monopoly. Is a gigantic group. I would like to invite you guys, all of you, if you ever would like to come, you have my contacts now. I would love to show you around because I'm very, very proud of the group itself. But obviously we're talking about a group that produces clothes every single day with the gigantic capacity. So we are aware of what we're doing in terms of like pollution, and we want to fight it and we want to somehow balance it. Obviously we have a lot of support from also the government, the Portuguese government. We are present on a lot of initiatives, and our boss actually recently received an award and like a medal for it by the Prime Minister and the President of Portugal. But I think really the main thing is education, because for instance, we recently did a collection with a brand from Denmark. And it was all focused on the 360 project. And the brand actually sent me like a press release that they wanted to launch for the media. And they sent me to approve it in order to make sure that everything written there was like, okay, and it was true. And they just wrote the most fantastic things about us. Like, if you read that, you would love us. We're so sustainable and we're fantastic and everything we do is sustainable, but it was not fully true. So for instance, the article would say that we already have solar panels on all of our factories and every single thing we do is based with that energy. And I said, I would love that this would be true, but it's not. So I'm not going to let you put this out. I'm not going to let you release this information because it would be fantastic if I do, but that's not our goal. We really want to finish. We really want to kill. We really want to fight greenwashing. So we want to be transparent. We want to be true, and we want to educate. So obviously we have some pressure, let's call it that way, from the European Union. But most of that, it's really because we are very much aware of what is happening because we've been working with the industry for so long. And we have so many factories and we have so many stock on every single one of these factories. And we look at it and we're like, okay, we have to do something about it. We simply have to. So let's just create a team, focus on that, fight it, and share the information, share the word. And I wrote that on a LinkedIn post recently, and I shared the video with all of my friends and all of my connections. And I really want people to understand that every second a container of clothes is landfill or burned. So imagine the amount of containers that were burned already while we're having this conversation. And people really have to think about it. And obviously, at the end of the day, we're still selling clothes. We're still being like fashion suppliers. But we really want brands to understand that the most sustainable piece, the most sustainable garment that you can possibly have is the one that you already have in your wardrobe. So obviously, we don't want to promote consumerism, but whatever we sell, whatever we produce, if it can be recycled or sustainable somehow, we deeply appreciate it. And we always promote that.
Well, thank you so much. We have some more questions from the audience.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really want to let you go. Did you have you explored Valerius Hub and yourself blockchain and NFTs and wearables? You touched on it a little bit, but would be great to find out if you're exploring the blockchain technology and connecting to right now.
I have to admit that we're starting with the 3D design and we're starting to promote that. But in regards to blockchain and NFTs, we already have a few customers that come to us saying that they want to work with us on that direction. But the truth is, we don't yet have a team that has like the proper know-how for that. But that is definitely something that we have to work on. And we have to have within, I would say, the next 6 months to a year, because it really is something that is very implemented on the fashion industry. Like Emily mentioned, the collaboration Louis Vuitton did with, I think it was with League of Legends, I think. And we're actually doing that. We did, we produced and we developed a partnership that Moncler did with Fortnite. And when we saw the briefing of the project, we were like, how is Moncler doing a partnership with Fortnite? Like, what is happening to the fashion industry? But the truth is, this is the new reality, and either you adapt it or you're out. So I would say that the Valerius Hub is really focused on sustainability and innovation. But in regards to NFTs and blockchains, we still have a long way to go, and we must do it as soon as possible.
Wow. This is amazing. You're so inspiring. I love your energy. Thank you so much for being here with us. Well, too bad that we didn't see your presentation, but I guess it was actually good. I hope everybody liked it, and please connect with Carla through LinkedIn. And yes, we would love to come and visit your company in Portugal.
Yes, please feel free to come. And again, like, you have my LinkedIn profile now. Feel free to text me, reach me on any way. We're more than happy to help and to support on everything needed. I'm just seeing Mary's question in regards to the air pollution, the specific technique. Basically, this specific technique was made in our own printing house. But what we did was the air pollution is a pattern. I don't know how to properly say it in English. Es a patente that comes from the US. So on this specific case, we, as the Valerius Hub, were not the ones that owned the patent. It was the brand, the Pangaia. So Pangaya bought it and sent it to us so we can do the production on this specific case. The technical aspect to it, like how they managed to extract the air pollution and turning it into a print, honestly, and to be fully transparent, I have no idea. But the truth is, it happened. It happened. We have all the tests. And again, feel free to check our website. And if you have more questions like that are more technical or more focused on sustainability and everything that we're doing with, for instance, banana fiber and pineapple fiber and everything that we're doing within sustainable fabrics, feel free to reach me. I'll be happy to put you in direct contact with our environmental sourcing department, with our R&D, with our sustainability department. And yeah, just promote education, promote sustainability, promote innovation.
Thank you so much. Very inspiring.
Can I ask a question?
Oh,
sure.
Yeah, well, I guess, yes, we have Biso on standby, but yeah, let's allow one last question. Thank you, Chris.
Do you have any other major competitors? And if I wanted to invest in you, can I do that in your company? Sure.
Like we've been working with brands, and now we're also dropping a lot of collections with influencers and football players and a lot of different fashion players. So there's a lot of people that come to us and say, okay, how do you work? What is your business strategy? And the thing is, since we work with such dynamic players, like for instance, we work with like Inditex Group, and we also work with Moncler, Zadig & Voltaire, Givenchy and Moschino and so on. And obviously we're talking about like from this one to this one, we have such different standards and quality requests and different ways of working. So we don't actually have a business strategy plan defined like a standard one. We always try to adapt ourselves to the customer needs. So we're pretty much open to any kind of business offer if it's a win-win kind of partnership.
Cool.
Kind of business offer.
Yeah, do you have like a ticker on the stock exchange to look into? Any metrics that I could look up?
Yeah, sure. I can share that with you. We have like a file that explains more or less that. Yeah. Ability is of 100%. You just have like Dina just shared my LinkedIn profile again. So feel free to drop me a message. I'll double check what you send me on Instagram, and I'm sure we can arrange a meeting and discuss it very soon. And I'm really sure we can support you on that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. It was really lovely. I'm going to pass the word now, and I'm sure we'll be in touch. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Carla. Good luck.
Thank you.